Welcome to the Embrace the Face podcast, where we celebrate all things weird and wonderful. I'm Allie Anderson, your host, here to bring you high vibe content and interviews for your highest good in self-healing and ascension. May these episodes bring you all you need in each now, and I thank you for listening, as always. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Embrace the Face. Today is a very special, magical, and woo-woo day on the podcast. I have Samantha Ganz with me. Hi, Samantha.
Hey.
Thank you for being on. I love your energy, and I'm so excited to talk with you today. So Samantha is a mom. She's a local Long Island mom. She's known as the Long Island Woo-Woo Mama, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So on all social media, so you can find her, so magical and mystical, and I love it. And Samantha's also a birth and postpartum doula, which I want to talk all about. She's a Reiki practitioner and, of course, a light worker. So welcome, Samantha. Thank you. I want you to go ahead and just share your story and share all about what you do.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Obviously, you don't know, you haven't really talked with me much yet, but I've listened to some episodes of your podcast to try to get a feel. And I feel like we have so many synchronicities, so many things that you brought up in your episodes. I was like, oh my God, we are very similar and we would get along. So I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. So a little bit about me. I grew up on Long Island. I became a mom in 2021. And prior to being a mom, I would say that person no longer exists. I don't really resonate much with who she was. It changed a lot about me. Even before I had my son in 2020, when so many of us woke up, right? I experienced major spiritual awakening alongside a miscarriage, alongside COVID, blasting off at the same time. I found out I was pregnant in February of 2020, and then March 4th of 2020 had my miscarriage. And it was I think a week or 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks before the whole shutdown thing happened. I think that was March 16th or something. So I dove into grieving my miscarriage while the whole world was also falling apart, it felt like. And I was at the time in college, because I had gone back for a second career. Now I'm on my third, but that's just me. But I was in college for teaching. So my college classes all went online. No more going into class. I was at the time a full-time nanny, and the family was COVID, we're going to stay home with the kids. We don't need you. So full-on grieving in isolation. It really took me from I'm kind of interested in the woo-woo stuff to down the rabbit hole very quickly, because all I wanted to do was talk to my spirit baby, and that was the only thing that made me feel better. So I really touched into my intuition a lot during that time. I got pregnant with my son 5 months later, my rainbow baby, and I knew he was coming. I wanted it so bad. And the day before I found out I was pregnant with him, I went for a reading with someone. I honestly forget what it even was. It was a spirit guide reading or something, just to do something fun. And we pulled cards at the end of it, and I got a card that said child of love, and it had a rainbow in the background of the card. And I was like, oh my God, I think my rainbow baby's coming. Next day, found out I was pregnant. So it was okay, he was telling me signs. And I'm actually currently pregnant right now. I'm 7 weeks tomorrow, so very early. But this baby also told me the day before I found out. I had a Reiki session with my Reiki master, and she said, I keep hearing lullaby music. I don't know why. This is so weird. I'm oh, okay, I don't know. That's weird. And then she dropped it. Later, she brings it up. She's I really can't stop hearing lullaby music. Does this resonate with you in any way? I'm and she knew I was trying, but I was I don't know. My son and I do have special lullaby songs that I sing to him every night, and we play a playlist, and I picked them when he was a baby, and they all mean something very special to me. One of them, I danced with my son at my wedding to the song. Yeah. So they're just our very special songs. So she goes, oh, maybe that's what it is. I'm yeah, maybe. And she's are you gonna do that with your next client, with your next baby? And I said, yeah, of course. Songs just mean so much to me. I feel I can really resonate with a lot of songs and like speak my soul to my baby with the song. So of course. And she's like, I also see like pink flowers like coming out. I don't know why. I'm like, I don't know, that's weird. Next day I found out I was pregnant and I texted her right away. I'm like, no wonder why you were hearing lullaby music the whole time you were in my energy. Like, this makes so much sense. So my babies definitely like know how to reach out to me and like send me signs that they're with me. And even before I found out, I kept hearing someone saying mama all the time. And I'd be like, what? To my son. And he's like, I didn't say anything. And it just kept happening so often. Like, I think it's a girl. She was definitely like circling me for a while. So communicating with, spirit babies is definitely part of where like my intuition kind of started gaining back in 2020. Then I had my son. It was a very traumatic birth, induced at 37 weeks, and it ended up being like a total, I can curse, right?
Oh, yeah.
It ends up being like a total shit show. Like, the cascade of interventions happened. Like, something that they gave me caused uterine hyperstimulation. So my uterus just started like instantly contracting back to back to back, like as if I was like about to push him out already, but I was not even like dilated yet. So it was intense. And he was not tolerating it very well. So we ended up with a C-section like pretty quickly. I only labored for like maybe 4 or 5 hours. And at my C-section, my son, when he came out, he didn't cry right away. His APGAR score was very low. I personally think his soul like wasn't really in his body yet, and that's why he didn't cry right away, because he was like, wait a minute, why am I coming out? And like his soul's like, oop, I gotta get in here. But because like, he was fine, he ended up being fine, but the medical community doesn't see that kind of stuff. But I think that that's true, that they're not always already in their body, or maybe they're just partially in there. So then he didn't cry right away. His skin was like very purple. He just wasn't looking great. So they came in. I saw him for like a second. I had a mask on because like COVID time. And it was like so hard from the angle I was at. I remember like the mask was kind of like covering my perception a little bit of him on the side, and they just like put him like right here for a second. I'm like, I can't even see him. And then they gave him to my husband. Well, at the time he was just my boyfriend. Gave him to dad for a few minutes to like do skin to skin, and then a bunch of doctors came in and they're like, we're taking him to the NICU. So they whisked him off. We went into like the next room where you go afterwards to like recover for a bit. And I had, all of a sudden, my blood pressure like tanked, and I was like, I don't know what the reading was, but the machine was beeping, going crazy, and I was not responding. My boyfriend was over my head saying, don't do this to me, don't do this to me, don't leave me. And I remember hearing him say it, and I was saying back, like, I'm fine, I'm right here. But like, I wasn't actually saying anything. So I was like having this moment of like out of body, like trying to respond, but like my body wasn't responding. And I thought I was answering him, but I wasn't. And then all of a sudden, the machines just like stopped beeping, and I was like, fine. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? I'm okay. And they're all like, that was the weirdest thing ever.
I have
Now,
chills.
no one's ever told me anything about why that happened. They just kind of moved on from it. But I feel like I had a near-death experience. I feel like I had a walk-in experience, if you know about that. Like, since then, I don't feel like I'm the same person. Like, a lot of my memories from before my son's birth, they feel like just things that I know about that were like kind of like downloaded in, but they're not things that feel like I actually like live them as the person I am now. Like, it's the weirdest thing, and I feel like not many people understand what I mean when I say that, but I feel like a higher version of me, or even a different soul, like stepped in. I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean, so we can talk.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Like, because even like things that I was stuck in before, like old habits that I couldn't break, like they were completely gone after that. Like, certain traumas that I went through, like, just don't trigger me the same way since I went through that. And yeah, it's just bizarre. And like, my intuition definitely went from like 0 to 100, even more so after that experience. So yeah, motherhood has like shaped me in so many ways, just like the love I have. And then going through that kind of birth, like, I really had to grieve not having like the birth I expected. And it gave me like a lot of postpartum depression and anxiety. Like I was constantly worried that something was wrong with my son, because I feel like my body got kind of stuck in fight or flight after the way the birth experience was. And even though like my soul was more evolved, my body was kind of like lagging behind for a while. And it really took me going through my doula training, which that whole thing was like, I'll backtrack for a second. I started working with a psychic therapist in 2024. And it was the same year I got married, which also leads into this because I truly think too, when I got married and I changed my last name, I stepped into like a whole nother identity as well. And I'm sure you know, like names carry a certain vibration and everything. So when I changed my last name, almost immediately my life started shifting, and like my goals and my career things started shifting. I was working as a teacher, and it all of a sudden was like, what am I doing? Like, this is not what I'm meant to be doing. And the old version of me was like so into teaching. Like I was so passionate about it. I was staying late at work like every day, working hours overtime, not getting paid, paying everything out of my pocket for my students. Like, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I have a kid at home. Like I am pouring so much into everyone else's children, and my kid is like getting breadcrumbs at the end of the day. I'm coming home like 2, 3 hours after I was supposed to be done with work, and he's growing up and I'm missing it. And motherhood just started to become more of what mattered to me. Like I really started to prioritize that. And as I was working with my psychic therapist, like I started telling her, and I had been through therapy for years and years and on all different kinds of medications with all different kinds of diagnosis, and nothing ever helped. It always made it worse. And she was the first person that like I worked with, and I'm like, this is what I've been missing my whole life. Like, at first, I was very scared to be honest with her about like the spiritual stuff and be like, yeah, like I feel other people's emotions. I take things on. Like, I'm psychic and I can tell when things are going to happen, like before they happen. And my intuition is always spot on. You can't just say that to any old therapist. And so at first, when I'm like, yeah, I think I might have had like a past life with my parents, and like that's why like I have a really hard time with them. And she's just like, okay, let's dive into it. You want to meditate on it? You want to like do a past life regression? I'm like, okay, I can totally be me with you. Like I finally realized, and I opened up, and then it just snowballed from there, and like the real me really started to like emerge. And I remember saying to her, when I go to work as a teacher, like I feel like I'm putting on a mask every day and I'm not showing up as me. And it's like, I feel so alone. And I'm like, there's people all around me, but I feel so alone. And she said something that like changed my life. And it took weeks, months to like fully process it and for it to like set in. But she was like, when you show up with a mask on, you are going to bring people to you, like attract people to you that match the frequency of that mask. So as soon as you remove that mask and you're being your authentic self out in the world, like the people that you actually want to be friends with, who actually you want to work with, like those people will automatically be attracted to you because you will be showing up at that frequency. And I'm like, duh. And then I started very slowly like rebelling, and like I would go to work with like a certain like spiritual jewelry on that I normally wouldn't wear because I used to be so scared. So many people at my work were very like uptight and very openly religious, which is not me. And so I felt like really stifled there. And so then I started to tell her, I'm like, okay, like I wore this to work, or I posted this on Instagram today. She'd be like, I'm so proud of you. But it was like little baby steps. And then I told her, I said, I don't think I need to be a teacher anymore. Like there's something else that's calling me. And we started to dive into that. And I didn't know where I was supposed to be. And she's like, do you want to be in the healing space? Do you want to be in the spiritual space? I'm like, yeah, but one day, like, I don't think it's time. I feel like that's too scary right now. And then my sister gave birth, and I had my first niece, and she had like a total opposite birth experience from mine. her daughter was almost born in the car. Like, she came out in like 3 pushes when she was at the hospital, unmedicated. Like, she skin to skin immediately, was able to breastfeed easily, which was a whole struggle with me. All the things like I had wanted. And I watched it all. I went to visit her, like, she was doing great. She was up and walking, and I'm like, what is this? Like, after a C-section, I was out for the count for like weeks. And I went home and I cried so much. And I just like grieved the birth that I didn't have for real this time, and like actually felt it like move out of my body. And I went to my therapist and I was like, okay, my sister's birth really triggered me, but at the same time, I feel like I let it go. And I finally was able to like say this was part of my journey for a reason. And I told her, I said, I helped my sister so much though too. And she cried to me saying like, I didn't know that this is what you were going through back when you went through it. And I wish I was there for you more. And I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's okay. You didn't know. Like, just like I didn't know before I went through it. You know, motherhood is like, and postpartum is something, until you go through it, you just don't understand. You don't understand how to show up for other moms and how to help them. And when I did that for her, it felt like it filled my cup so much. Like, I was there helping her like get the baby on her boob and like making her food and all the things. And my therapist goes, that's beautiful that that like felt so fulfilling to you. You know that that could be your job, right? And I was like, you're right. That is a job. That's what doulas do. And she was like, yeah. And it was almost like this aha moment for me of like, yeah. And then everything started to fall into place. Like, I had so many signs from the universe. People talking about doulas randomly in my like sphere, a doula training thing like coming up, just falling in my lap. I'm like, okay, these are always signs from spirit that like this is where I'm meant to go, when things just fall right into my reality. So I signed up for the doula training while still teaching, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I'm going to try it. So went through the doula training. That alone was also so healing, like learning kind of where I went wrong with my birth, with like not advocating for myself and stuff, what I could probably do differently next time. And then just like learning even more about like the amazing magic that women have within us. Like, we literally have a portal inside of our womb, and like we bring souls into the world. Like, that is bizarre. And the fact that people are not like bowing down to us for that fact that we can do that is like nuts to me. I'm like, women are goddesses. Like, we are literally pure magic. And yeah, it's just like it ignited something in me that I didn't have last time, that I had like when I was going into motherhood. Like, now I'm just like, no, mothers are magic, like absolute magic. And all I want to do is like spend time with other moms and help other moms, and like help other moms see how freaking powerful they are, and like remember who they are and remember their magic. Because going through that process for me has been like the most healing thing ever. And it's brought out like the most embodied version of me, when I really like remembered who I am. Like, I am freaking magic, and I can bring forth life, and I can bring forth all this creative energy, and like can really like change the world. And I'm not saying like I'm going to change the world, but like women have that power within us, you know? And like all it takes is you helping one other woman see that about themselves, and that they can remember like, you know, who cares, we get heavier when we're pregnant. Who cares like afterwards it's hard to lose the weight. Who cares that like we're leaking from all these different places. Like, is pure powerful magic. Like, that is amazing. You should be like rejoicing that you're able to do that, instead of feeling ashamed and feeling, oh, I got to get back to my pre-baby body. Like, no, love that body, because that body brought forth your children. Like, that is amazing. And so that's also part of like what I'm doing. Besides being a doula, I went to my best friend and I said, do you want to do a woo-woo mom's night? And she's like, what? Yeah. She has been my best friend since, God, like a decade ago. We met while we were nannies, and we would like bring our nanny kids to play dates together and stuff because they were best friends and they pretty much forced us to do play dates and like be friends with each other. And then we ended up being best friends too. It was one of those like meant to be relationships. Like she's definitely been my sister in another life. She runs a big mom group on Long Island. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called Mamas and Minis Long Island.
No.
She runs that with her partner. So like they started that from being postpartum and like wanting to go on walks with other moms and just like get out of the house, and it turned into this really big community. So she's very, they now do like events and things like that all the time. So she's very like well versed in running like events and stuff. So that's why I went to her. And I've always been like the more shy, like introverted best friend in the corner, like cheering her on, but like not wanting to be in the spotlight. So when I said that to her, she was like, yeah, like I'd love to do it. But I feel like she was probably kind of shocked and probably didn't think I was going to go through with it. And I was like gung ho, like, I'm like, okay, we're going to plan this. Like, and I started coming up with all these ideas and like just diving into it. Like I had stopped teaching last year in June. Like I finished the school year and I told my boss I'm not coming back. And I have been working with my doula business, like building it up since then. So since last summer, like it's actually almost been a full year. So, you know, building a business has been great, and like being at births and supporting moms has been amazing. But there was like some other piece that I always knew was meant to fit in there. And it was like, I honestly forget the astrological event that happened now, but it was back in February. And I'm an Aries sun sign, Virgo moon, Virgo rising though. And it was something where Aries moved into something in February. I forget what it was. I have to like go back and look. But it was a big event where they were like, this hasn't happened in like, maybe. Was that the one that hadn't happened in like hundreds of years?
I'd have to double check, but I believe
Yeah,
so.
it's something
Yeah.
that hasn't happened in so long.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, like literally when that happened, all of a sudden, like this fear, that's the other thing I didn't say. I had such a fear of being seen as like a witch. Like I definitely have a witch wound. That's a whole other thing why I was like, I don't really identify as a witch. Like I like to be called a light worker. I'm working on it. I think there's some ancestral stuff, and like
Yeah.
I definitely probably was like killed for being a witch in a past life.
I'm looking right now for the book. So because before recording you had said I identify as a light worker, not so much a witch. And I just did for my book club in last fall, we did The Witch Wound.
Yes, I need to read that book.
Yeah, so all the
I've
things you're
heard
saying, like
good
how you
things.
wore jewelry, like you started wearing jewelry to work, like that's like coming out of the witch, quote unquote, witch closet. You can use whatever word you want. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That empowerment.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and to be honest, like, this is so weird. I told my one friend, I'm going to talk about her later because I'm doing an event with her, but she is a psychic medium. And I told her the other day, I'm like, she was like, did you ever go to Salem? I said, no, I feel really called to go though. I do have ancestors from Salem. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, their last name is Bixby. And she was like, what? No. I'm like, yeah. I've like dove into it a bit. It's really hard to trace back that far, but there's definitely someone in my family line that I know I was related to who was like a priest in Salem. So like that makes me think not good energy.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to go so bad because I feel like if I go to the museum and stuff, I'm gonna spot certain things. I know that that name is like in a lot of places in Salem,
Yeah, I've
but like the
definitely.
famous stuff from like the books that we had to read like in middle school and everything was like one of those girls that like pointed out that's a witch, that's a witch. Her last name was Bixby, I think.
Book. Yeah, The Witches. I have that book on the
Yeah.
history of all the
So I
girls
don't
who.
know. I'm like, there's something I haven't dove into yet about why I'm like so scared of being out as a witch. I know there is, but I will get to that point of like diving into it. It just feels really scary.
I
But
feel like honestly, like you don't have to use the word. You can always dive into why, right? Like why do words trigger us? But I feel like just embrace your light worker. If that's the word you resonate. Like some people don't like to use the word healer. So it's like, okay,
yeah.
don't use that. Just use what resonates with your soul.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's so weird. Even to this day, like when we're planning stuff, my friends always like, "Oh, it's like a witchy night." I'm like, "No, we can't say that." Like it
You know what
really
it
triggers
is
me.
too? I feel like, I don't know for you, but I feel like sometimes social media, like if I go on social media, so many things that you said, and I know you said before recording and during recording, you've listened to a few episodes. So I don't know what you've listened to about my life, but so many things you said. But just the witchy aspect, like I was a daily mass goer, like
Yeah.
back in 2021, 2022. And I would go to prayer groups and I became a Eucharistic minister. I was in the choir, and but I was dangerous to everyone, right? So I was so scared to use the word witch. And then you go on social media and then you see the people who were old witches or psychic mediums who are now, born again Jesus, and Jesus is the only way.
Mhm.
And then you have the people who are like, well, I don't identify, I no longer identify as a witch because after doing it for years, I had an experience with Jesus. And I actually had to tell myself at one point, it's like I've always had a relationship with Jesus. I've always had a relationship with God, with source, with universe, with Mother Earth, like whatever it is. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm saying like it's the religious programming aspect of like it's deeply rooted within our subconscious. And still to this
Yeah.
day, after we finish this, I'm getting my stuff ready because I'm holding a psychic medium event at a restaurant. But still in my
Awesome.
subconscious brain, I'm like, that's taboo. Like we're not
Yeah.
supposed to do that. And but I still like it's an art form. It's a practice of reminding yourself that we may have been burned at the stake in past lives, but we need to embrace who we are, I think, no matter what word. I like
Yeah.
your title though. Woo woo.
Yeah.
Going out. I like
Thank you. Yeah, and my friend was like at first because she's not as, although she can speak to dead people too, but she's like not diving into it, and so she's like, what does woo woo even mean? Nobody knows what that means. I said, trust me, the right people will come. I'm like,
yeah.
they know if they're woo woo, they know the word. But yeah, because I feel like that just overly encompasses everything. Like I'm just out of the box. Like it's woo woo. That's what
Sure
it
you're not
is.
Aquarius? Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm
I
not.
know we talked about this. Yeah, it's important. It's important to not put yourself in a box, I think. And I love everything you're doing. And you're a Reiki practitioner also, right?
Yes. So that's also something that like I always knew I was going to do eventually. And every time I would get Reiki, I would get like this heat in my hands, like if I would receive Reiki from someone else, and it would get unbearable to the point where I'd have to like tell the person, hey, can you like clear this energy out of my hands? Because like I can't even take how this feeling is. Like it's so hot. And they would always tell me, like, you're meant to be doing this too. You're a healer. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like it's just not time yet. Because I had to go through what I had to go through and like come to this point. And so when I stepped out as like doing this mystical moms night, which we did back in April, and like really put it out there and was like, I'm trying to build this woo woo mom community. Like, if you feel different in other mom spaces, like I do, and you feel like you can sense people's energies, like it gets overwhelming if you're very intuitive and you're just not finding like deep connection with other moms, not to like shit on any other mom space, but just like, I don't want to go to a mom event and talk about like, oh yeah, my kids signed up for soccer. Like I want depth. I want like women that are going to be like, "Oh yeah, have you ever like lucid dreamed? Have you ever like you know,
Let's talk about
had
astral
a shot,
traveling and
yeah,
aliens.
like just exactly like have you ever had a life in the Pleiades? Like that's what I want to talk about." But so I'm like, there's no mom space like that. And although I can go to like a spiritual space and find people, like I also want people that are moms because moms just get other moms. So I don't know, it's very niche. And I
I
was like,
love it.
there's a need for it though. And once we put it out there, like so many people are like, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been missing in my life. And so when we put out Mystical Moms Night, it sold out really fast. And my friend was like, I've never had an event sell out this fast. This is crazy. I said, I told you, this is needed. Like I created it because it was what I wanted, because it was what I needed. I'm like, there's got to be other moms out there that also feel the same way. And when we did it, it was just like mini Reiki sessions. We had someone doing oracle card readings. We had vendors with like crystals and other like witchy sprays and things like that.
Where'd you do
And
it? At like a restaurant or
it was
a...
at the Place on Park in Bayshore. It's like an event
Ooh.
space. And I led everyone in a guided meditation to like start out the night. So that was kind of like my big, like, of course, posting all this and like making my Instagram account back when that astrological event happened in February, which when I made that account, it was like the fear was gone. I just made it and I was like, hey, I'm woo woo. And it was just, I'm like, what the hell did I just do? But we have been going since. But
No, I love it.
that
I think,
guided meditation was like, sorry, what?
no, I was gonna say you quantum leaped. You just embodied
For
who you are.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But that guided meditation that I led, so like I had this whole idea in my head. I'm like, I want women to like know how powerful they are. I want them to know the power that lies in their womb portal and like awaken it. And then I want them to connect with like other moms. So I led this meditation of like really grounding in and like connecting to your womb space and seeing like this light in your womb and it like expanding and like remembering that that is how divine you are. And like no matter what you do all day and you give to other people, like you have this divine power within you. And then I had them envision like the other women in the room also having that divine light in them, and then them all like expanding so much to the point where they were like touching each other and it was connecting like these like little strings of light, like connecting each one and then expanding out into their community and into their family and into like their homes. And I'm like, this is what we need in the world. We need women stepping into their power and remembering who the fuck they are and like putting that out there and working together. Like that is what's going to heal the world. And so that meditation, we stopped it. I had like I felt out of body while I was doing it. Like I felt like my voice sounded different. I was doing this weird breathing that like I would say something and then I'd be like, and
Drag it
everybody was like,
back. Yeah.
whoa, when you breathe like that, the message just hit that much harder. And I'm like, I've never done that in my life. I don't know what that was. And then we
Channeling.
ended
Yeah.
it. We turned on the lights. Everyone was crying. They're all like, that was the most intense meditation I've ever done. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that was. That was
That's
amazing. It was exactly
amazing.
what I envisioned, but it was great. And so like that I think is my purpose. Like I have so much to my purpose, but like remembering who I am so then I can like embody that and then bring that out and teach that to the world and like teach that to other moms and other women. Like being a teacher was the way I was doing it before. I realized like I am meant to be a teacher, just not in that way, you know, like more of a coming back to self, coming back to you. So once I like posted, I forgot I started talking about this because of Reiki. Once I like posted that I was doing this event, I connected with another mom who was a Reiki practitioner, and she put me in touch with who she went to Reiki with because I was like, one day I want to do it. And before the event even happened, I just felt so called to it. I'm like, I'm signing up. So I did Reiki 1. Just, I'm sure you had this experience too. Felt like the most natural thing I've ever done in my life. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And I
it
had been
was like,
told for years, like, you were gonna do Reiki. And I was
mhm,
like, okay. And I put it off. And then when I did it, I was like, oh, yeah, I've been doing this my
yeah,
whole life.
like I've done this before. I have
Yeah.
in other lifetimes. Yeah. And then I did Reiki 2, which was even more intense. I'm most likely doing Reiki Master soon. I'm just feeling into it. It's not the time yet. I feel like I need to
Yeah,
like
take your
stay in
time. Yeah,
Reiki
you
2
got
for
it.
a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been life changing. Like I'm supposed to be starting to take clients very soon at a space like right by my house. Also like just fell into my lap. Like sources like, here you go, 5 minutes from your house,
Love that.
which I'm so excited about. But yeah, Reiki just feels amazing. Like while I was learning about it and how it's just like universal source energy, basically, I'm like, this is also part of it. Like, this is part of how we heal the world, right? The more people that become attuned in Reiki and just emit universal source energy. That is so healing. Each and every person that goes to a Reiki training, we are literally changing the world just by like stepping into that version of ourselves. Like, it's just, it's such a beautiful thing. I'm so, so grateful for Reiki. Use it like
Same.
every day.
Reiki, I swear, has healed so many of my ailments, including POTS and like my heart rate. I still remember hovering over like my sacral chakra, and it just like poof, like something. And then ever since then, I didn't have to be on my cardiac meds anymore. Like
That's
there's something
amazing.
about it. Yeah. Everywhere I go too, I send Reiki to the plane. I send Reiki to the cruise ship. I send Reiki when I go to, a function to the building. There's so many ways that we can utilize it for the highest good of humanity. And I love that. I love that you let things come to you. I'm kind of the same. Are you a projector by chance? Yeah,
Yes.
so like we wait for things to come to us. So like that opportunity, 5 minutes from your house, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's always like I can
What?
feel it when it's getting close, but I'm like, I just gotta wait. Just gotta wait.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Patience is a virtue for sure. You 100% like just like quantum leaped, like you, like no fear, no fucks given. I want to say it was Aries in Neptune, and if I'm correct, that's illusions. So like all your illusions of your fears just like dissipated, and regardless, like you just embodied the higher timeline version of yourself, and you
Yeah.
went for it. And that is the exact thing that I try to help people with and to talk to people about. Like, you have that vision for yourself, you have fear, just take the steps, take the action, quantum leap into it. Like, it is yours. It's yours for the taking if you want
Mhm.
it. And so many things that you talked about. I've had a near death experience where, like you said, you are trying to put into words and you can, and like people don't understand you, yet I do, because it's something that to this day, 7 years later, I still tell my husband, like I've been a psychic since, I was younger, and always, I mean, we all have gifts. We're all psychic. I have a free course online that teaches that. And if you just tune in, but like when I woke up from that near death experience in the ICU, like seeing auras like I'd never seen before around my husband and nurse, and just knowing that nothing was ever going to be the same. And 2 years later, walked away from corporate. Like after that's all I knew. I knew how to be a corporate nurse. That's it. I did
Yeah.
Reiki. That's the scope of practice as a nurse. But like, you just have to trust. You have to trust your intuition. You have to trust the divinity in it all. And I just want to say also, so my kids are older. My kids are 14 and 16. And I went down a path, and I've talked about this on other episodes with other moms, where I went down the Western medicine path, unfortunately, with postpartum depression and
Yeah.
anxiety, and also like pharmaceuticals and booze. That was my that was my
Yeah.
treatment. I think it is so beautiful and so magical. And it doesn't, I know what you mean when you say, like, oh, your sister's experience triggered you, because sometimes to this day, when I do hear other women having babies at my age, like I'm 39, I'm in perimenopause, which is new to me. Like I just got, so I'm like, okay, like I had to surgically tie my tubes at 25 due
Mhm.
to like life-threatening pregnancies. And so when you do feel that like sadness within you, like I don't know what labor feels like. I had two emergency
Yeah.
C-sections. I think I had contractions once for like, well, I know I had contractions once for like an hour, and then they
Yeah.
went away.
And it feels like this part of you is just missing, that
But
you
yeah, like I'm
started
not
this
a real woman.
initiation and then they just stopped it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, although it's my journey, and it's almost like I missed out on that experience. I got so lost in the Western medicine world that I really didn't, I was young. I was 23 when I had my daughter,
Yeah.
younger. I did not know anyone all my friends still lived at home with their parents. I happened to own a house and have a kid, and all my friends still lived with their parents. They were single. I worked crazy shifts. I worked mid shift. I worked nights. My husband worked full time, crazy 60 hours a week. Like we didn't have we didn't have help with daycare. Like we were it.
Yeah.
and I had to just keep functioning. And unfortunately, I functioned like a robot.
Yeah.
So I
How
think
could you not though?
even being pretty woo woo and like I wasn't self aware, but I was always a little woo woo and witchy, like, but I think that what you're doing is just so like it makes me want to cry because it is exactly what I wish I had when
Yeah.
my kids were little. And
Thank
I
you.
didn't have that. And I think that the way you share your truth, the way you speak your truth, how you found yourself is so resonating for me, but your message too. Like I feel like I need to introduce you to my friend from Jersey, my friend Jacqueline, because all she says is, I need you to remember who the fuck you are. Like that's your only
Yes.
fucking job. I'm gonna help you remember who the fuck you are. And that is
Yes.
always what she says. And she always puts me back in my place, because we're all human. We can woo, but we need those women. We need those moms. We need those people to bring us back to center, into alignment, to remind us how powerful we are. And as you were even just describing the meditation, in my mind's eye, I was visualizing it all. And like, it's powerful shit. It's
Mhm.
like, it's magic and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that you just need to keep expanding and keep doing what you're doing, and people will come
Yeah.
to you, and let
I
them come
think
to
so.
you. Don't They will come to you.
That's how I've been. I'm like, I'm not gonna push for it. I'm just gonna be me. I'm gonna throw these things out there that I want to do. I'm gonna be creative, and the people will come that are meant to be there.
Yeah.
Very, very much feel that. I'm like, there's no reason to feel stressed or feel like, oh my god, I need people to sign up for this so I have money. Like, nope. It's just gonna be who's meant to be there, and like abundance will come as I serve. So yeah,
And
and I
that's the
keep getting that
energy flow
message
right
so much.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
And it's
that's the
so funny that
universe.
you said that because Remember Who You Are is the first tattoo I ever got when I was 18 years old, right after I tried to commit suicide, actually, and unsuccessfully, obviously.
Been there.
And yeah, I was not in a good place. My teenage years were freaking hard, man. And like, whew, that's what I mean, where it's like, I don't really resonate with that girl because, like, who I was before. But I know
You don't
that
need to.
she had to
You don't
go
need
through that stuff. Yeah, but like, oh my god. And the reason I got that tattoo was like so not like it was mainly about my suicide. Like it was like remember who you are, that you're stronger than that, but like now I'm like some other part of me knew that that was a message that was going to keep going through my life because it's
Mhm.
not just about the suicide attempt. It's about all of it. Like all that I said about like just coming home to self and like really remembering who I am. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
it's crazy. And those are exactly the women that you need in your life and to be
Yeah.
surrounding yourself with because
I found them a little later in life, but I
Mhm.
was with friends yesterday and talking about my own suicidal experience. And when I
Mhm.
checked myself into a psych ward and spent like 4 days there, and it was just an experience. And I'm like, this is not who I am. Like, this is not multiple different diagnoses, multiple types of medications, now down to one. Like,
Right.
that was never who I was. And I feel like when you share that message with people and you show them and you live out loud and you're not afraid to be seen, it's the emotion that gets other people to realize that one, they're not alone. And
Yeah.
two, there are people for them. And sometimes all we need to hear. I remember one time someone was guiding me in a meditation and they just simply said the words, like when I was in my heart space, you are needed here. Like, and there's like, you're wanted here. And like, there, sometimes we just have to remember that
Mhm.
no matter how low it gets, like, there is a reason that we are here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we have to come out of that darkness into the light, and it's what we're supposed to do when we wake up. I feel like when you were saying how, like, that version of you wasn't there anymore, I got the words like light codes, like your frequency light codes, like everything, just all your frequency, genetic frequency, DNA level, cellular, like everything just completely alchemized into like
Yeah.
the version that you're in now. And yes, the old version made you who you are today. just as we all are, right? And now it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I can always continue to send that version love when if I get triggered, or, what version of me today is upset? What age do I need to go back to and be like, okay,
Yeah.
little Allie, or okay, little Samantha, like, you're okay,
Yeah.
like, you're a baddie, like, you got this, like, let's go, I got you. And you just keep flowing. Like you said,
Yeah.
even with the sadness with your sister, like, you recognized, you had the self awareness, which is a beautiful gift, to recognize that this is triggering me, but I can't let it sit within. I
Yeah.
have to let it go. And how can I alchemize it into gold? And that
Mhm.
and it starts with the breath. It starts with meditation, reminding yourself, I mean, not even meditation, but just like telling yourself, reminding yourself, guiding yourself into that heart-centered truth.
Yeah.
And doing it
Yeah.
in community just makes it even that much better. Helps
Yeah.
humanity, makes the world go around.
And taking that pain and like that grief and yeah, like alchemizing it into something that I can give back to the world, like helping other moms not have the kind of experience that I had.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
have to
it's like
say, having a baby in COVID, I have four nieces and nephews that were like born during, since and during that time. And I can't even imagine that birthing process to
it
begin
was
with.
bad.
Like, just, yeah, the
I
masks, the
wasn't
not
allowed to have
having kids.
visitors. Like I
Yeah.
and my son went to the NICU for 2 days. So it was like I didn't even have my baby with me. And they had
Yeah.
this stupid rule, like only one parent at a time could go to the NICU because of COVID. So like
Mm,
a person that just had a C-section is gonna go by themselves to the NICU and see the baby. No, I was in the bed half the time and my like his dad was over there and then I'm just by myself, not allowed to have visitors, just crying, like just total baby blues, don't even have my baby. Like I had such a disconnect from my son at first. Like it really took me a long time to bond with him. And like I still remember when it happened, he was like 3 months old and it was like literally 3 a.m. And I was looking down at him and he smiled at me and I just started bawling and I'm like, I love you so much. And like it just hit me all at once. And like to this day, like thinking about that moment makes me want to cry. And
yeah.
like
My
like
daughter was
now, like he is my fucking world. Like I would jump in front of a bus for that kid. But before that, it was just like this thing that was screaming all the time and wanting milk. And like I was just connected to this machine just pumping all the time. I was so out of my body. And even after that, like still for so long, I've never until more recently like felt like I was back in my body. Like it's such a weird feeling to realize like, oh, I've been like really existing like out of my
Mhm.
body, like not feeling this stuff. And then when you finally do, you're like, wow, it's intense, but like I would never want to go back to not, being here.
Agreed. Agreed. And actually, where I am, so you said one, my daughter was in the NICU for 3 weeks. So I totally get that. Totally different bond with her than with my son, because I did not have any of that like skin to skin.
Yeah.
And it fucks with you. And looking back, it's like, no, I never want to go back to that version. And to be quite honest, like I've pissed a lot of people off in my life to in being who I am, and your circle might get smaller in that regard, or people might come and go in your life when you start talking about these woo woo ideologies and things that, mind you, are evidence based in helping people
Yeah.
to self heal, body, mind, and soul, which that's a whole nother topic of conversation. We can't control what people believe in and how they want to heal. So I do have to say, I also wanted to say, I feel like if I were able to have a baby again, you would be my go-to person, and that like I would sign up with you. I would sign up for a home birth. Like even if I weren't allowed, I'd be like, nope, Samantha's going to be with me. I don't care. Like you would come in my pocket with me.
Oh,
But
thank you. And that's the kind of people I'm trying to like attract. Like right now, because I'm pregnant, I'm kind of like taking, I'm just doing daytime postpartum support at this moment.
okay,
just because like I don't feel good.
It's too much.
But
So question. So question.
yeah.
So when we had it, so when we had initially set up recording, you were like, "Oh, I had something come up." Because so for those listening, I usually record on Wednesdays. We're recording on a Thursday today. So the reason I'm asking is because you had something come up where you said, "Hey, I just had a client sign on and she can only do Wednesdays." So how does that work? Like, do you meet with them weekly? Like, are they weekly sessions throughout their pregnancy and after?
So this client, I actually did overnights for her after she had her baby. So she's mainly been a postpartum client. So with overnights, like I sleep at their house, and unless they're breastfeeding and like I need they need to, mostly like if it's formula, they're sleeping and I'm taking care of the baby so that they can get some needed rest. But if
Okay.
they're breastfeeding, like I help with breastfeeding. I bring babies so they don't even have to get out of bed if they don't want to. Right to them. They can breastfeed, they can go right back to sleep, and I'll like burp the baby, change the baby, get them back to sleep. So like even with breastfeeding, you do get a little more sleep than you would without a doula there. Basically like your go-to for any questions, like venting sessions. There's been moms I've been up with in the middle of the night just like talking about what they're going through and stuff. But so she was an overnight client to start with, and then she just recently wanted some daytime help because her husband went back to work, which like I remember that feeling the first time my husband went to work. Like I was terrified to be alone with my son.
Mhm.
So for daytime, like it's really what mom wants. Like I'm there as an extra set of hands. If they do want to go run an errand, that's fine. If they just need somebody else to be there to like bathe the baby, if they want to take a nap, if they want someone to talk to, if they have like questions and they want to set up like more of a like schedule for baby, like what time should baby be sleeping, how long of a wake window should they have, like how do I do tummy time, like just any of the questions postpartum that you would have, like I'm there. Almost like I like to tell people it's kind of like having your big sister come hang out with you after you've had a baby, like someone that's already been through it and like knows the evidence-based stuff that will help.
I
um
love that. You're as soon as like you came on the screen, and I knew this before, like even just from your social media, like you're so nurturing, you're so divinely
Thank
feminine,
you.
like so you just have that like natural mothering quality about you, and I think it's so
Thank you.
special.
Thank you so much. And it's so awesome to hear you say that too, because for a long time I was really stuck in my masculine, like before I became a doula and stuff. And I remember my therapist saying to me while I was teaching one day, like we were talking about working on like stepping into my feminine. And she's like, well, what does it mean to you to like show up as feminine? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't really feel like going to get my nails done all the time. And she was like, yeah, like she kind of was like, that's not what I meant by it. And like I didn't get it at the time. And I said to her the other day,
Me
I'm like, I
neither.
feel so feminine. Like I kept telling her, and I'm like, remember when I thought that that just meant like going to get my nails done? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, no,
It's
because
so
I've done
cute.
so much work to like remember what it means to be feminine. It's not what society tells you it means. Like
I
it's
was
just,
just gonna say, you have clearly done so much work. Like you and I could probably talk for a year on here about
I
all the
think
work.
so.
Yeah, yeah. It's I love that you're working with a psychic therapist.
She's phenomenal. Oh,
Yeah,
changed my life.
so
Literally the
cool.
best person ever.
Yeah, you found your match. I went to like years of, Western therapy,
Same.
basic therapy, never got to like really the root of it. I remember at one point in my life, probably in 2016, I started meditating in 2018. So I'd say in 2016, my therapist, who I did like this lady,
Mhm.
she was the one who she was like a little holistic, a little hippie, like woo. She brought in a lady to do a hypnotism on me once, just like a grounding, like a quick guided meditation. And she used to do different visualizations with me, but I was not self-aware then. I was still in my shit, like way too much in my shit. But looking back, like to find somebody who you can work with that you trust to be able to speak your minds, and like I think that's why Eastern medicine and being woo woo work, because people have some serious deep shit that they need to talk about, and they do not feel safe doing that in an office building. In Western
Ah,
medicine, with someone in like a suit holding a clipboard, sitting in a chair.
yeah. And you
So if
don't
you're
know that
listening,
they
yeah.
even relate to you. You're like,
Oh,
have you
yeah.
ever been through some shit? Because like I only resonate with other people that's been through some shit. you know, like
Yeah,
it's weird. Like you feel like
because
you're
you get
talking to
it.
someone who's like up here and you're like down here in the shit. And it's like they don't get it. I'm just word vomiting at
Yeah, yeah, and it's just kinda like, "And then how do you feel? And then what do you wanna do?"
them.
And it's like, "No." Like, I need to get to the root of the root of the root of the root,
Yeah,
like, get to the nitty-gritty of it, and to be able to talk to, somebody, to trust somebody, to really be open and vulnerable so that you can, because once you get it all out, I feel like it's like you said, almost word vomit, like, once you get it all out from the heart,
then what?
you're releasing that, but it's like, but then what? Then what, like,
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's still stuck in here. Like, how do I keep it flowing? How do I actually rid of
exactly.
it? And that's where the
Yeah.
woo comes in. The
Yeah,
woo,
because there's so much more
meanwhile,
to it. The
yeah,
energetics of it. Like, is this stuff stuck? Is it stuck in your body? Is it stuck in your
yeah,
energy field? Like you
yeah,
can talk about it until your face turns blue, but then you're still gonna feel not great. You're gonna go to the next therapist and have to talk about it again and tell them your whole story again and bring all the trauma back up. And it's like, how is that actually helping anyone? I'm sure maybe for some people they feel like it helps, but like I've been through lots of therapists for many years. I've been going to therapy since I was 16. Like it didn't it didn't really help. I was still having problem behaviors. I was still like acting out my trauma. I was still angry at people and I was still closed off and like didn't want anyone to like actually know who I was. And it wasn't until like I would say something like this is bothering me and it was like, "Okay, would you like to dive into the energetics of that? Would you like to meditate on it? Would you like to do a visualization?" All these different things that I'm like, oh, we can do that instead of just talking about it. And then like I would dive into my own intuition of like, where do I feel like this is connected in my body? Like, where do I feel like this is stemming from? Like, is there a past life connection here? And like letting my own intuition like guide me into like, oh, yeah, I know that this happened. And like really healing it because there's so many layers to this stuff. And that's why I love my therapist. Like she went through the normal like trainings and stuff and was having her own like psychic experiences and like knew she was a psychic and was having like clients. She felt like she just like wanted to go into the psychic realm with them to like help with their problems. It's just the regular therapy way, like you stop right there. So then she was like, I'm not going to work under my license and I'm just going to do a different avenue and go a different way. And I feel like that's exactly what's missing in that space. Like all these people who, and this is where I have a hard time because some people are such big mental health advocates. And so I feel like I'll trigger them. So it's like hard. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but like I've been like diagnosed with all these things. I've had all these different medications that made me feel like a different person, made me act like a different person, took me on roller coasters. And like at the end of the day, realizing that like I can feel other people's energy and I can take it on as my own if I'm not careful. I am psychic. I remember things from other lives and have brought them into my life today and like need to be able to like separate those, like realizing all those things brought me such more healing than someone telling me like, hey, you have this disorder and take this medication. Like I just feel like it's falling flat what they're doing. And I don't know, people can come at me for that, but like I've lived through it. So I know what worked for me.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't identify with those disorders that they told me I had like anymore. I'm like, no, I don't have that. I'm just a very energetic being and like that's okay.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Anybody listening, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you just
Mm-hmm.
are who you are. Remember who the fuck you are.
Exactly.
Well, I agree. And people can come at me too. So after, I think that I remember going to therapy with my mother as a teenager, like at like 14, 15, them wanting to put me on antidepressants. And my parents were like, no, not happening. So, and then even as a nurse, I've been a nurse now for 18 years, and they never taught us about, until I became somatic certified, I really didn't understand what it meant for emotions to actually live in the body, and how to really recognize that, how to love all the parts of yourself, how to
Mhm.
accept all the parts of yourself, how to tune in.
Mhm.
And I even worked in at one point in my last job, I had to go into the locked psych unit to teach Tai Chi. And
Wow.
it was really interesting. And I taught Tai Chi for fall prevention. So a lot of the patients on these medications, on a lot of psychotropics, are at high risk of falling, and a lot of them are older as
Yeah.
well. So I would go in, and people, everybody's different. Everybody's on their own journey. And I tried to do it from like a non-judgmental level, but like sometimes like the way that I would see them being spoken to or treated, and it was like, I don't know, that was when I started to be more into Reiki and holistics. And that was kind of like when I started to realize, like, yeah, I don't think I identify with like the mainstream Western medicine practices anymore. And then I started diving deeper into Reiki, got my master, did somatics just a few last year. But like in between that, I just really started like, deep diving into nutrition, Ayurveda,
Mhm.
and quantum and akashic. And I became an initiate of the modern mystery school to learn about my energy, because my energy scared the shit out of me. It would cause panic attacks. And then what happens when
Yeah.
you have panic attacks that lead to, like, so I would have like spiritual psychotic almost episodes, and like, but then it was like I knew it wasn't me. It
Mhm.
was like I'd go on the train and I would be spiritually attacked, but it would lead to a total panic attack. And then my husband would be like, "You need to go back on medicine." I'm like, "No, like it's like there's something happening. Like I need to get a
Like
hone on that."
picking up on all the other stuff. You're in a train with packed with other people who are
Yeah.
going through their own stuff and
And
carrying
I
their own
remember
stuff.
this
Maybe
was
things are
like,
attached to them.
yeah, yeah. And I remember this was like after the world opened back up with COVID. So like nobody
Mhm.
wanted to be around people to begin with. But like I
Yeah.
just remember suddenly we were back around people, and I really started honing in on that. But yeah, I love to, I believe in the modern marvels of some Western medicine, the
Yeah,
things
there's
that it
some
can
things that
cure.
are amazing, but
Yeah,
not
but when it
everything.
gets to, and the thing that I can't stop denying is that this has all been around since the beginning of time. Like it's recorded in hieroglyphics, it's recorded in the green tablet, it's recorded in scripture, it's recorded in so many different theological and philosophical and ancient runes. And the megalithic structures alone tell us that there's more to the world than just what most people are living, seeing,
Yeah.
and perceiving.
Hmm.
When
I
is your next
remember
event? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, I grew up very like religious too. My mom was like my religion teacher. Probably also part of why I felt very scared to like come out of the closet as a light worker. But I remember like I used to ask my mom a lot of questions that like she had no answers to. And I remember one time I told her, I think I think that Jesus is just like us. And she was like, "What do you mean?" I'm like I think he's like teaching us how we should be, but like he's not like as up here as everybody thinks he is on a pedestal. Like he wants us to also be up there. And she was like, "No, I must have not taught you well enough in religious religion school." And I'm like, "Okay, obviously I can't talk to you about this stuff anymore." But I was like 11 when I said that. And I was like, I also remember saying to her like, "How do we know our religion is the right religion?" And
Mm,
she had no good answer for me. She's like, "Well, because the Bible says," like things like that. And I'm like, "But what if like everybody is a little bit right and a little bit wrong at the same time? Like, what if there's bits and pieces of every religion that, like, if you put it together, gives us the answer?" And it was like so profound for a kid, especially a kid that was like taught to think a certain way, to even like think about that stuff. And I think back and I'm like so proud of little me for like even thinking like that. But it's so me
yeah,
to think like that. But like, and I still believe that to be true. Like now I I and I don't I maybe I should like look into stuff that Jesus like actually said more. Like I turned my back on all of that once I like became a teenager. I'm like, I'm not going to church anymore. Like I'm done. But like Jesus was a light worker. And like so much of the things that he said when he said, I am blah blah blah, like, or like I am God, like he wasn't necessarily saying like just he is. Like we all should be saying those I am statements. And like he was showing us the way. And it's like, oh, it just makes me so upset that like that people have like everything's been so twisted. And it's like there is so much truth right in front of our faces. And if you can just see through like the illusions, like of like there's truth hidden with lies, and if you can just pick it apart. I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of forgot where I was
It's
going
to
with this, but
say,
like,
no, I know exactly what you mean. Like if everybody just stopped having tunnel vision and deprogrammed their religious programming and saw the world and the universe and the message of Jesus for what it was before it got completely misconstrued. The message got misconstrued and written by man, and through hearsay and after posthumously, like, so we really don't know. And that is something that, like I said, I've struggled with too. And the message that he did have, and children are inherently connected to the universe, and it's no doubt in my mind that like you knew exactly what you were saying, but it was just your mother's programming, right?
yeah,
She didn't know
yeah,
what to say because guess what, they're taught but nobody knows the answer.
yeah.
Like,
Except for,
so we can either live in non-duality about it, where we can accept that, the truth of it is that there's the lower vibrational frequencies and the higher vibrational frequencies, and I can choose to not judge the lower vibrational frequencies and the perceptions that people have, and I just continue to send them love and like hope that. So I was in a prayer group, right? I was in a prayer group, and long story short, I was like the youngest one.
Mhm.
And I was in it for probably a year, and we would pray the rosary weekly. And I love the rosary. I will pray the rosary because I see and I feel, and I'm very connected to the Blessed Mother. So I grew up in a Jewish and Catholic home. And when I was 13,
Yeah.
I decided to make my communion and confirmation because I had like a very mystical, I guess, experience or calling through the Blessed Mother. So
Wow.
I was in this prayer group, and they just prayed for things like women choosing to be in human trafficking. Like I please pray for the souls of the women choosing to be in human trafficking. And I remember, and just other things about just, religious ideologies in the modern world that are a little bit like, we're not in 1910 anymore. Like we're in 2026.
Yeah.
And yes, you can pray for the conversion of souls to your religion, but how about just praying for the fucking souls to feel
Yeah.
love, to feel enlightened, to feel whatever it is that brings them joy and peace and bliss and happiness? Like, why can't
Yep.
it only be your way?
Yeah.
And when they don't convert, then they're sinners.
Yep. Yeah. Like I love when people post that it's like a meme, I don't know, like about how like if Jesus was alive today, he would be one of the people that they would be like protesting against or like casting out, like he would be like us. And it's like,
It would be
that
happening
was
all
what
over
would
again
Jesus
because
do?
everyone
How many
pushes.
times are you actually doing what Jesus would do? Jesus would do exactly that. He would just send love, and he would recognize that like that person's just not, they're at that point in their journey and they're just not like aware yet, and they would just send them love and like move on.
That's
And
it.
yeah, it's like all the programming is really, I guess,
And
the
that you have
problem.
the power within you to live a God frequency. Like you are the message, you are the vessel, you are the answer, and you are unique. So your gift, Samantha, is not the same as my gift. And my gift is not the same as, my neighbors and my friends. And we all have this magic to offer the world if we
Yeah.
just remember who the fuck we are and we live in that. Christ consciousness love. And
Exactly.
what is it? I don't know if it's in, I think it's the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which many have said is, claimed to be Mary Magdalene. Many have said is claimed to be a falsified document. But even in the Bible, too, like those who have ears, let them listen. Those who have eyes, let them see. They're
Mm.
not talking about the eyeballs right here that I'm staring at the screen. They're not talking about the ears that hear, yeah. They're talking about the spirit ears and they're talking about the third eye. It is
Yeah.
so much more than what's written in that book. It is so much more than what we see in the day to day.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people don't even actually study into it and like feel with their intuition what it's saying. They go and like they listen to a man standing up there telling them what it means at a sermon, right? And that's something I never could get behind because I'm like, who is he? What? I don't know where he really stands on his beliefs, like how he feels about, world peace and women and like certain things that I might actually care about. Like, why am I listening to him? Tell me what it means.
Yeah.
And some people that's as far as they go and they're just okay with that. And it's like that to me is like, where's your critical thinking? Where's your like trusting your own intuition?
Yeah. Not thinking outside the box.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're on the same page. Oh, this has been an amazing discussion. We
It
really could
has
talk
been.
today. Do
I know.
you
I've been.
have, okay, so when is your next event? And because
Yeah.
I'm coming, if I can, and any last words of wisdom for those listening?
Yes. So for this summer, my friend Nicole and we set up like it's kind of called Mystical Moms, what we've been doing. So we've set up something called a Mystical Moms Beach Hang. So our first one is coming up next week actually. It's on June 11th at 6:30 at Robert Moses. It's $15 to join. I'm going to lead a guided meditation. We're going to do like everyone gets to pull an oracle card. We're going to share about why we thought we got the oracle card and just do like facilitated sharing and community, and we're going to make like a group chat too. So this is just one of like many. We're going to do this throughout the summer, so stay tuned for more dates. I know by the time this goes out nobody can probably sign up for June 11th, but
Yeah, June
we're going
11th.
to have
Okay.
more
Yeah.
like that. So this one I'm calling
If
it
you're
Blooms and
listening,
Waves.
if you're listening, we're keeping it a secret because Samantha's going to tell her family on Father's Day about her
Yes.
pregnancy. So
Yeah.
we're launching this after. So okay, so after June 11th.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, so but that'll be something like I'll keep posting when we have other dates. We're gonna
Okay.
try to do it as often as we can. We're like we can't commit to weekly because like we have our own kids and stuff, but as often as we can because we just want it to be like a night where like or an evening where you can just leave your kids at home if you do have a baby and want to bring them as long as they're like not mobile and gonna distract you, like feel free. I have some moms that are bringing their little one, but like a night where like hey, I've scheduled this in, my husband is watching the kids or grandma's watching them or I called a babysitter and I can just go to the beach, tap into nature, tap into my intuition, tap into like sisterhood motherhood vibes and just like be for a little bit because we as moms have a really hard time doing that. Even me, like as spiritual as I am, like I get caught up in the day to day with my son and like the things that we have on our calendar. And like sometimes I'm like, I don't even remember the last time I grounded. Like, I don't know if I did it this week. And like, so it's just a time where you're going to go there, you're going to ground, you're going to meditate, you're going to connect to other women. And we haven't launched it yet, but by the time this goes out, we will have launched it. There is a really fun event that we're calling Gather, Ground, and Connect on July 11th at 7 p.m. at Workshop in Wantagh. This is a co-hosted thing with Mystical Moms and Connections with B, who is a newer friend of mine. She is a psychic medium named Bryce, who is so talented. So talented. So we're going to be doing like there's going to be yummy food to eat, community vibes. I'm going to lead a guided meditation and she's going to be doing a demonstration of mediumship. So if people have someone that's passed that they're looking to connect with, she is so talented. She's actually certified with the Forever Family Foundation for people that like really are struggling when they've lost someone and they want to connect. So it's like a grueling process. Apparently she said to get certified, they have to go through like all this testing and stuff to like make sure that they really are real mediums that can connect to the other side. So I'm really excited about that event. The tickets are going live, I think, this week. So by the time this is out, they'll be live and
Please let
people
me
can
know.
sign
I'll
up.
share it. No, send me the
Yeah,
link anyway.
definitely.
I'll share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. I will. So that's it for right now, but definitely more to come. I'm very excited about Mystical Moms and just like being out of the closet as the woo-woo mama that I am.
I love it. Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
I love it so much. And final words of wisdom for anybody looking to follow their heart.
Yeah, just like remember who the fuck you are. Like, you are divine. You were put here for a purpose. You have so much love and light to give. And, like, it doesn't have to be tough and a struggle and, like, sad and bad all the time. Like, if that's your reality right now, it doesn't have to be like that forever. Like, it literally could just be like this and things can shift. I'm living proof of that. Like, as are you. Life can be magical and you just need to like believe that and like lean into it and go out of your comfort zone, really, because like that's what changed my life, is not being scared to go out of my comfort zone. Like, what is the worst thing that could really happen, and really facing that and being like okay with the worst scenario and then being like, okay, I'm moving forward with this and I'm gonna try something that's out of my comfort zone. So yeah, dive
Beautiful.
into it. You are powerful.
I have those words tattooed on my rib cage. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. True.
Ooh, love
Written.
it.
I
Oh,
got it done in
chills. That's amazing.
2013. 2013, I got it done when I was living in North Carolina, or 2014, probably like the lowest point of my life, those few years. And I was like, I'm going to get these words. I don't know why I'm going to get these words tattooed on me, but I
Same.
know I'm going to need it for a reason. And fast forward, they are my words, yeah, that I live by. So,
Yeah,
so true. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here, Samantha. Thank you for
of
sharing your
course.
story and your beautiful energy. I will share all of your links. And if anybody wants to work with Samantha, please do reach out to her or myself. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening. Peace out and God bless.